You know what time it is. You know what time it is. It's time for another video. It's time for another video. What's going on, lads? What's going on? It's your boy John coming at you again with another video. How's it going? Hope you're having a pleasant day, man. Hope you're having a pleasant day. I certainly am. I'm in nature. It's peaceful. It's quiet. This nature, however, this forest has quite a few people walking around in it, so it is what it is. It is what it is. You come here for nature. I'm still in my exploration phase of Harlow. I'm going around the whole place, just trying to find the best, peaceful place of solitude where I can just sit or walk for hours in absolute solitude where there's no one there. Okay, because I come to nature as a sort of retreat from daily life, from interacting with other human beings. Because other human beings are unpredictable. Nature, it's not even about predictable or unpredictability. It is what it is, and that's what's so beautiful about it. You just accept it. This is where you came from. This is your origin. You should be spending as much time in nature as humanely feasible to really get that connection, that vibe. But I just made a video previously to this, and I was a bit of in a turbulent phase. Okay, my inner state was very chaotic. So I was trying to make sense of that by making a video and just by venting on the computer or the camera. And I decided I'm not going to blow that video because that was more of a vent video. This is more of the actual practicality of that video. So that was a lot of jabber. This one's going to actually have some more practicality in it. But the basis of the other video was that the ego develops out of separateness, okay? Separateness is the cause for the ego because, well, the idea is that the ego believes that you are separate. That you as an organism is separate from the rest of everything else. Everyone else, everything else. And that you need to survive, okay? You need to survive in this turbulent world because you are a separate thing. You are an alien on this earth, an alien to other people. Everyone else is a stranger. Everybody else doesn't like you, or either they like you or don't like you. It doesn't matter. Both are dualities of separateness. Okay, like, dislike, love, hate. It's all part of the same thing, isn't it? It's all part of the same coin. It's just the duality. But there is no duality. There is no separateness. Everything that we like to think of as being one way, as in I love or I hate, that's actually duality. It's an invention of our own head. Same as good and evil. Okay, that's just ego again. It doesn't actually exist. So the ego develops itself out of duality, out of thinking that it is separate from the rest of everything else. And that's why some people have very strong egos, okay? I certainly do. My ego is a turbulent one. The ego controls your emotions and it controls your thoughts. Or rather, the thoughts and the emotions control the ego. It's a two-way stream, isn't it? There is no duality at the end of the day, so you don't know how it works. But it is what it is. Okay, there's an ego. It's an illusion, an idea. It doesn't actually exist. But it does manipulate your emotions and your thoughts. And the more separate you are from the rest of everything else, the more powerful your ego becomes. I.e., the more control it gets over you. So if you're a person who thinks that I have such a unique history, a unique past, I'm special, I deserve special treatment, I have these unfulfilled expectations from the world, well, newsflash, you're in your ego. Okay, you're in your ego. And the ego will always be reactive to the outside world because it is placing its happiness on the outside world. Because it thinks it's separate. It thinks that you are separate from the outside world. But I've had a few spiritual encounters and experiences where the outside world and the inner world suddenly merged. And there was no duality. There was just me in it. I was a part of it. And that was an awakening. Okay, that was my enlightenment. When I realized that the outside world has no power over my inner state. My inner state only becomes dictated by the outside world when the ego places importance on external events. It places meaning and significance on external events and wants them to turn out a certain way. That's when you are reactive. That's when you are controlled by other things, because your ego has essentially given up control. Or rather, you've given up control to your ego. And your ego is reactive. It reacts to the outside world. Your ego is a survival mechanism. It's supposed to be reactive. But you don't need it now. Because in today's life and in today's world, all it's going to give you is suffering. It's going to give you turbulence, chaos, fear, anxiety. And you don't need any of that. It's a redundant system. It's a technology which has outlived its purpose. So the only thing that humans can do now is to transcend that technology, to go above it. You can never get rid of it, okay? We're never going to get rid of it, not in this lifetime, not in the next. Quite possibly it's going to be with us for another 100,000, 200,000, even a million years. So you're not going to get rid of it, but I'll tell you this, Eckhart Tolle says this as well, that the next stage of human evolution is the transcendence of the ego. You transcend it. You go above it and you go beyond it. And that's my goal right now, because I've come back home. Okay, I'm back with my family, and you know what it's like to be with your family. I'm a 22-year-old man, almost 23. Okay, and when I'm with my family, it's like I'm settling back into those old egoic patterns, those unconscious patterns, which are very turbulent, very reactive, very toxic. And I'm in that environment right now. I'm in a toxic environment, so to speak, because everyone else around me is very unconscious, very much in their ego, and therefore very reactive and very toxic. So it's very easy for me to fall into that vibration, okay, because it's the norm around me. So my goal right now, my quest, is to remain as present as humanly possible, to be as grounded as possible, and to be very steadfast in why I'm on this earth, my purpose. My purpose is to spread love and joy, okay? That's what my purpose is. And then of course I've got my form purpose, the actual thing that I am, this body, which is, and the mind, which has its it has another purpose. That purpose is to, well, to serve for good in whatever capacity I can. Okay, so that is right now the military is one. Another one is being a psychologist. Another one is another one. I can keep going. I have many form things that I want to accomplish, right? I want a family, I want this, I want that. But the core spiritual purpose in my life right now is to spread love and joy. And I can only do that if I'm a loving and joyful person within. If I love myself and I'm joyful within. That's the only time I can ever give it to other people, because you can't be loving on the external side and not be loving inside. Because there again is the illusion of duality. I can pretend to be loving on the outside, but inside I'm dying. That's painful, that's torture. That's absolute agony. It's like when you like a girl and let's say she's got a boyfriend or she's not into you. So you can't like her on the outside, but you like her on the inside. That's called pain and torture. That's torture. That's not a position you want to be in. In that state, you either move on, you cut yourself off from her, because you know that the external world isn't going to fulfill what you want inside, or you accept it for what it is and enjoy the torture, the pain. Easier said than done, I know, but that is the practical advice behind it. So how do we stop this reactive ego, this illusion of duality, this separateness, from keeping you in a constant state of turmoil and pain? Well, you have to realize that you're not separate. You're not separate. You came out of this ground and you're going to go back into it. Everyone else around you has that same one living thing that's inside of them that's exactly the same as you. And of course, you need to remind the body and the mind, because it is the body and the mind that does it of its own accord. When you don't remind it that you are actually part of the universe, you're not a separate alien, you are a part of this universe, you're a part of nature, you come out of nature, you can't ever not be loved in that sense, because you come from love itself, from creation itself, which is love. Okay, you come from it. So you can't ever be separate. Understand that as a psychological concept first, and then eventually you will move on into the actual feeling part of it, where you are psychologically and spiritually connected to every living thing around you. In that state, gentlemen, you can never be hateful or envious or jealous again. You can never feel anxiety again, because you understand that you're a part of nature and there is no resistance to change anymore, because nature is change. Nature is change. It is always turbulent. This is not permanent. But then your inside state becomes still. Okay, it becomes still and it becomes transcendent. And therefore change does not cause chaos within, because you're always peaceful within. And therefore, whatever happens on the outside world, therefore, has zero effect on your inside. I think that's where we all want to be, isn't it? That's where we all want to be. So of course, coming into nature, doing nature walks, sitting in nature for hours, if that's not possible, for a few minutes at least. Every day though, at least every day. Soaking in the sun, doing physical exercise, meditation, eating healthy foods, working out, etc., etc. Doing these habits and these things reminds your body that you're actually a part of nature. Socializing as well, of course. Healthy socializing is always good, because again, you're connecting with your fellow man and woman, in my opinion, which is the best part of creation for us humans anyway. We are the best part of creation because we're conscious of it. So we are in a position to give back to nature now. We're not just acting out of instinct now. We're not just created and we're in a position to give back abundantly. Nature's created us for a purpose, and I believe that is the purpose, to manage itself, because we can. But anyway, gentlemen, that's going to be it for today. I want to make another video about the nofap changes I've seen recently, because I know you guys love the nofap videos, so that's alright anyway, I don't mind. But yeah, that's going to be it for me today. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.